Today, we are talking about conflicts that are going on right now in the world. Not in the past, not in history books, but right now at this very moment. There are more conflicts in the world today than almost ever before, and most people hear about them only as headlines, without really understanding what is happening and why. First, let's understand what a conflict actually is. A conflict is when two or more sides are fighting over something. It can be land, power, money, religion, or simply control. It's like when two people argue over the last slice of pizza. One says it's mine, the other says no, it's mine, but instead of words, they use weapons, armies, and violence. And very often, people who have nothing to do with the argument suffer the most. One of the worst conflicts right now is happening in Sudan. Sudan is a large country in Africa, and since 2023, two powerful military groups inside the same country have been fighting each other. This is called a civil war, which means people from the same country are killing each other. Because of this war, millions of people have been forced to leave their homes. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you can't stay in your house anymore. You don't know where you will sleep tonight, and you don't know if you will have food tomorrow. That is everyday life for many people in Sudan right now. Another serious conflict is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, especially in its eastern part. There, the government is fighting rebel groups, one of the most famous being called M23. This conflict is not only internal, because neighboring countries are also involved indirectly. To explain it simply, imagine a neighborhood where one group tries to take over streets, another group resists, and outside friends come to help both sides. Very quickly, everything turns into chaos. People run away from cities, homes are destroyed, and normal life becomes impossible. Yemen is another example. The war there started many years ago and never truly ended. Different groups are fighting for control over the country. Some control the north, some the south, some important ports, some oil fields. For normal people, this means no stable electricity, no stable food supply, and no safety. It's like living in a city where rules change every week, and you never know who is in charge today. There is also constant tension between India and Pakistan. These two countries have been arguing for decades over a region called Kashmir. From time to time, this tension turns into real violence, border clashes, and attacks. Imagine two neighbors who have been fighting over the same piece of land for generations. Even if years pass quietly, one small incident can suddenly start another fight. The conflict between Israel and Palestinian groups is also still going on. Cities are destroyed, thousands of civilians are killed, and millions of people are displaced. This conflict has deep historical roots, but right now it is very active and very deadly. Rockets, airstrikes, fear, and anger are part of daily life for many people there. There are also conflicts that don't get much attention. In parts of Africa, groups like Boko Haram still attack civilians. In Eastern Europe, the war between Russia and Ukraine continues, affecting millions of lives and the global economy. Food prices, energy prices, and political tensions around the world are connected to this war. So why are there so many conflicts right now? Because many old conflicts were never truly solved. They were frozen, ignored, or pushed aside. Others start because of economic collapse, political crises, or fear. Very often, conflicts are about resources like oil, gas, land, or water. Resources are like money, and money creates power. When people feel that they are losing power, security, or dignity, they are more likely to fight. Let's make it very simple. If you feel safe, fed, and respected, you are unlikely to fight. But if you feel hungry, scared, and ignored, anger grows. Now imagine this feeling not in one person, but in millions of people at the same time. That's how conflicts start and grow. The important thing to understand is that behind every conflict there are real people, not just soldiers or politicians, but families, children, students, and workers who just want to live normal lives. Conflicts are not abstract. They destroy homes, futures, and generations. Right now, information about these conflicts changes very fast. There's propaganda, misinformation, and emotional manipulation everywhere. That's why it's important not to believe everything immediately, and not to think in simple good versus bad terms. Reality is always more complex. The world today is unstable, and conflicts are becoming more frequent and more violent. Understanding them is the first step to not becoming blind to suffering. Peace to you and to your world. See you next time.